Welcome back to, goodness bless you. Welcome back to another week of fall watching. I have hellos to say from the weekend. Weekend shift finally had more kids, which is super exciting for them. If I remember correctly, they were telling me that they needed like one more to fulfill their 50th baby mark. And so that finally happened for them, which is awesome. I've lost count long ago. I know I've breached the 1,000 point. I think it was last year before that, something of that nature. So I've long lost count at this point. So let's say hello to those two kiddos, but there's also a pretty good chance we might have a baby tonight. So in particular, my best bet is going to be between this gun runner and this mandaloon. I will show you why momentarily. But the gun runner in particular, she's kind of been waxed up and she's recently started dripping milk. Now, she does typically do this. She does it about a week and a half out. So this has all been standard for her. Admittedly, I'm a little surprised about the mandaloon that she didn't foal over the weekend. I don't think I've ever delivered a single one of her babies. She typically likes our weekend shift a little bit more than me. So I was a little surprised that she waited until I was here. And then also we have my Maximus Mischief as well, who is a potential candidate. All those three are waxed up, dripping milk, relaxed behind, ready to go. I have about 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. I got like 3 or 4 that are kind of like the next wave up behind them. But as of right now, no one in that wave has any wax. They're not dripping milk. They're a little relaxed behind, but they're not necessarily like, So that's the next group that, they could go, but I think they're going to wait until either end of this week or beginning of next. So let's say hello to these two kids and let me show you the gun runner and mandaloon a little more closely. Now, mind you, it is currently like 80 something degrees right now. So she's definitely a little warm and sweaty, obviously right there. That's just because it's 80 freaking degrees. But obviously that is, she started dripping a little bit like 2 days ago. It was fairly minor. Now it's definitely more consistent, uncomfortable. She was supposedly uncomfortable, what was it, yesterday or day before? She was uncomfortable at one point over the weekend. And actually on Saturday, I looked at her and I was like, I kind of gave her this look. I was like, are you going to foal this weekend? And she's just like, eh. And I was like, okay, whatever you say, lady. And then this mandaloon, she developed wax on Saturday. And so she's still rocking just some wax. She's not dripping or anything. But she is nice and relaxed behind. And she's just currently vibing. I thought she was a little uncomfortable at a point yesterday. Because at one point, it got really hectic yesterday for day shift. Day shift had 5 breeding shed runs. And these two were, dripping, or she had wax, but she was uncomfortable. She was dripping milk. My other mare was dripping milk. And then there was another mare that had wax and was uncomfortable. And so I kind of ended up coming in for like a short shift instead of having a night off because they were worried. They're like, we have a breeding shed run at a weird time and the rest of day shift's not on the farm. Can you come babysit? And so I came to babysit, and she was a little uncomfortable during that period of time. But no one had a baby when I was babysitting. We did have you, though, didn't we? So this is the mare that had shipped in recently. That train, good Lord. But this is the mare that shipped in kind of recently, and I didn't know who her baby daddy was at the time. I found out literally after the baby was born. But we have a little idle colt. You want to say hello? You were so talkative earlier. Yeah. You want to talk again? No. He goes, I was taking a nap, woman. I was taking a nap. Hi, Mama. Yeah. Did you know? Because I just want to take a nap. Anyway, this is this mare has always kind of foaled later, but she always, like, I always felt like she had kind of smaller foals. You're fine. And this, I feel like this kiddo actually has a lot more leg than her normal foals. So maybe, I don't know. It's been a little while since I've actually foaled any of your kiddos. I know, life is so hard. And I got one more. I know, meow meow. Poor weekend shift. I remember I always been saying the past couple days, like, not the past couple days, past couple weeks. I was like, poor weekend shift. I was like, just been shut out. Like, we've had so many Monday, Tuesday babies, or like Friday babies, that they haven't really had anything. And then they finally have 2 this weekend. Ugh. And then also, the lovely lady, who I had kind of been waiting on for the past couple days, because I was kind of like, I think she's about ready. We had a Munnings colt. Hi, look at all the white face and the white legs we have. Yeah, so much chrome this year. So of course, with all the chaos the other day from day shift, and I had said that they had a whole bunch of breeding shed runs and everything, this kiddo was kind of born at like 5 a.m. I know. And so by the time he stood and nursed and everything, it was, day shift was here. It was 8 a.m. But they called me around like 10 because, day shift manager was out and about doing breeding shed runs. And they were like, I can't get it to nurse. Like, it's not nursing right. And they were all panicked. And they're like, it's been alive for too long. And I come down here and I just a little snoop. And he went right for the boob. I was like, it's fine. I was like, he can eat. He knows how to eat. He was just teasing you all. I promise. You made day shift panic. Yes, you did. Yeah. You made day shift panic and think you didn't know how to eat. He's like, yep. That's my job. That's my job. Anyway. So those are the 2 babies from... that's so annoying. Those are the 2 babies from the weekend. I think there's a good chance we'll have maybe 1, maybe 2 tonight. But overall, I'll be very surprised if we don't have at minimum 3 this week. My one request, which I know is not going to happen, is I would really love if all 3 of these ladies could foal before Wednesday, which is probably not going to happen. I have a filly running in Indiana on Wednesday, and I would like to go. I don't think I'm going to be able to go because she runs at like 4 p.m. So by the time we get up there and get back, it's kind of cutting it close to 7 o'clock, and that means all these lovely babies and mares would be alone for a little too long for them to be able to pop out a child when we're not here, huh? I don't need to have any of y'all be sneaky. Are you enjoying playing with that little twine? It tastes so good. My little chew toy. Love it so much. It's better than mom's tail. Anyway, I guess we're gonna buckle in, see if any of these ladies decide to have a child tonight, or if they're gonna drag it out and make it so that I can't go watch my filly run on Wednesday. So this was a mating I was really excited for. This is a gun runner colt. It is so cute. But this is probably one of my favorite mares on the whole farm. And I love gun runners. So I was like, I cannot wait for this mating. And then I had mentioned it a couple of videos back when I introduced her properly, that this mare had gotten sick in like December. And obviously horses are pregnant for 11 months. So it wasn't like, oh, we bred her and she was sick and we bred her, you know, like, no, she was already well pregnant. And originally we were like, you know, she was fine, obviously, like we wondered if she was gonna lose the baby or not, but you know, she was fine, happy, healthy. But in the back of my brain I was just like, you know, that took a lot out of her. Like, we had to up her nutrition, she was on medications. I was like, I wonder if we're gonna have a peanut baby. We have a peanut baby. It's so itty bitty. It's so itty bitty. She's like, yeah, I have a little peanut. But we have the cutest peanut. We have the cutest little peanut. Yes, we do. You're so tiny. Oh, you're just gonna flop. Are you just gonna flop? I would like you to stand up so I can show people how tiny you are. Like, properly. You barely even go to my waist. You know that? You barely even go to my waist. Yes, I know. You're so cute. It's okay. You like once all his legs straighten out and everything, like, sure, he'll be a little bit taller. But hopefully this just means you're gonna be short and fast, huh? You're just gonna be short and stocky, like the rest of your siblings. He's like, I don't know. You're over here making fun of me, calling me a peanut. My mom's using me as a napkin. And then the mean doctor lady poked me earlier. Yep. Oh, because a little peanut. It's a baby peanut. It's like, I hate everything. Oi! You just bopped your head on my knee. I know that didn't feel good. And he's like, no, it didn't. No, it didn't. Meep, 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 meep. Meep, 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 meep. Meep, 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 meep. He's already sick of my shit. Obviously. Anyway, I will fight you if you try to eat me, woman. Anyway. So, besides the fact that he is a little bit of a peanut, he is doing good. He is fine. He's happy and healthy. We had the vet come anyway because, like I said, she had gave us a little bit of a health scare. And, like, she's been doing great. But we were just paranoid because life. So we had the vet come give him some extra juice as a just in case when he was born. And honestly, I don't even really think he needed it because he was doing great. He was rocking and rolling and running around in no time. In other universes, this universe, another mare, I don't know, anyway. No one really did anything. Now, that being said, the Mandaloon was in a small paddock with this lady. So I'm wondering if now she's going to be alone or they're going to put her with somebody new. If that is going to entice her to potentially have her baby either sometime today or a little later tonight. And then obviously my Maximus Mischief has still got milk. So I got a feeling at this rate, if I get lucky, maybe they'll both go here in the next, you know, today sometime, tomorrow sometime. I don't know what day it is. So I can sneak out to Indiana for Wednesday, but I'm not overly optimistic on that end, to be honest. I got a feeling that I'm not going to be able to go, which sucks. Anyway, I guess we'll see if they decide to change their mind. It is now Tuesday evening. I have a feeling we're gonna have a Mandaloon tonight, which, ironically, day shift was so hell-bent. They're like, you're not gonna have a baby tonight. Everyone's been so quiet. Like, we're gonna go, like, you know, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I was like, okay, cool. I got here 5 minutes after day shift. Maybe 10. I took one look at her. I was like, she's gonna have her baby tonight. If she doesn't, I'll be surprised, but she'll definitely go tomorrow if that's the case. The reason I say that is she has been uncomfortable since I've been here. Right? Phenomenal. And the thing is she's never been one who's uncomfortable for several days. She's uncomfortable the day of, and that's it. So, like, I'm expecting her to foal tonight. If she holds off till tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised. but I'm expecting tonight. I would love to say my Maximus Mischief is also uncomfortable and she should be foaling tonight too. It's not the case. She's just vibing. So, I guess we're gonna chill and see around what time she decides to foal. Oh, that being said though, I heard thunder earlier and I was a little surprised. We're supposed to be getting rain a good chunk of like early morning, like 3 a.m. to like 8 a.m. and there's a chance of a thunderstorm in that period of time, so that might encourage my Maximus Mischief to do something interesting. But as of right now, it's been pretty chill. Just we're gonna sit and see what they decide to do. It is now Wednesday evening. I've had two and a half hours of sleep. Tonight's gonna be a fun night. Maximus Mischief. I left. I went to Indiana. I was like, she's gonna foal. She'll foal because I left. No. And I told them, I was like, hey, I'm gonna be about 10 to 30 minutes late, depending on traffic. And they're like, yeah, that's fine. We're just sitting here waiting for the warfront to foal. I'm like, the warfront? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay. She was in what I thought was going to be the next wave. I honestly kept waiting for her to wax up. The Vacoma, who else? The next go down there. Been waiting for them to just wax up, but they've all been really quiet. She never waxed up, but she is dripping milk. She's been uncomfortable. So I have a feeling she'll foal before 10 o'clock. As for my Maximus Mischief, don't know what to tell you about her. I really thought me leaving the state would do it, and it did not. Anyway, I guess we're gonna sit and wait for the warfront to foal, and then I will just suffer sleeplessness for the rest of the night. So that should be fun. I love when I get to tell day shift that I'm right. Isn't that right? Oh, goodness. Oh, what perfect convenience. Your mom is right there. Are you actually hungry, or was it just... Yeah, okay. But we now have a Mandaloon colt. I feel like it's not really a surprise at this point, now that I'm saying colts, because we've had a whole bunch of them just back to back to back. He's just all leg right now. Ironically, when he was first learning how to nurse, I don't think I've ever seen a baby back up so well. Like, he was just constantly just going backwards. I was like, walk forward, sir. Like, come on, help someone out. No, but obviously they're doing great. Give him a couple days and those long, wonky looking legs will stretch out and unfold and he'll look like a normal pony. It's like, I have no clue what that means. Fun fact, well, 2 fun facts, I guess, about this mare. She's only ever had colts, so this is her 3rd colt. We bought this mare. This mare belongs to a client, and they bought her out of the sale 5 years ago, I think, something like that. And she was carrying her first baby. We learned the hard way that she's actually terrified, or she was terrified of other horses. So typically when we buy them, oh, you scared him. Were you so scared? But typically when we buy horses out of the sale, we always try to put them together so that they'll buddy up, have a friend, you know, and then let them settle in before introducing them to the rest of the herd. This mare, I'm not joking. How many fences have we very kindly destroyed trying to get away from other horses? She's like, a lot. Yeah, so we found out the hard way that she is terrified of other horses, and she was carrying her first baby, and obviously we were like, oh my god, like, what is, like, how is she gonna handle a baby, like a baby horse that just came out of her? Like, is she gonna panic with the, like she does with the adult horses, or what? No, she loves them. For her, it is like a DIY best friend. She loves her babies, which is great. So yeah, ironically, her first foal was like her only friend for months. Like, we tried to buddy her up with another mare and baby, and she just was not having it. And honestly, last year was the first year that we finally were able to turn her out into the big herd. And she would occasionally still have her moments where she would like panic and run in a circle, but like she actually started grazing with the other mares and like hanging out and like taking care of other babies too. And so, like, it sounds so dramatic just to like be like, oh my god, we can turn her out into a field with other horses, but like, she's been just kind of a work in progress. We've really had to baby her through just being a horse. I know. But no, she never made it to the racetrack either, and honestly, I think part of it is her attitude, and she's just kind of always been a little tricky to manage. So, anyway, we've got her figured out now. Like, we've got, like, she just is one we end up having to baby, but it works in the end. She accepts all of her babies. She loves her babies. We'll find out here in this year or next year whether or not her babies can run. Isn't that right? Somebody is talking up a storm. I'm not sure who it is. Oh goodness, look at you. He's like, I'm just gonna zoom around in little circles. You're not gonna be able to walk under your mother for much longer once those legs straighten out. He's like, I don't care. Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna leave you be for now. I'm gonna have to come and untie your wonky tail in a bit though, so y'all don't mess with it. In other news, no one really did anything, which, I mean, it's currently raining. I don't know if y'all can hear it. I have headphones in. Honestly, I was trying to focus on finishing this stupid book that I'm reading, and it's just painful. It was such a highly recommended book, and it just sucks so bad, and I'm just like, I don't understand the hype around this series at all. Anyway, my personal mare is still dripping milk. I was hoping she would foal so I could sneak out to Indiana. Honestly, I might still be able to go to Indiana. The whole thing is just like the timing of it is really inconvenient. If the race was at like 1 o'clock, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. But where it's at like 4:30, by the time I get back, it's like it will be close or a little past 7, I think, maybe, possibly, I don't even know. So it's just cuts it a little close. It is now Wednesday evening. I've had 2.5 hours of sleep. Tonight's gonna be a fun night. Maximus Mischief. I left. I went to Indiana. I was like, she's gonna foal. She'll foal because I left. No. And I told them, I was like, hey, I'm gonna be about 10 to 30 minutes late, depending on traffic. And they're like, yeah, that's fine. We're like, we're just sitting here waiting for the warfront to foal. I'm like, the warfront? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay. She was in what I thought was going to be the next wave. I honestly kept waiting for her to wax up. The Vacoma, who else? The Knicks Go down there. Been waiting for them to just wax up, but they've all been really quiet. She never waxed up, but she is dripping milk. She's been uncomfortable. So I have a feeling she'll foal before 10 o'clock. As for my Maximus Mischief, don't know what to tell you about her. I really thought me leaving the state would do it, and it did not. Anyway, I guess we're gonna sit and wait for the warfront to foal, and then I will just suffer sleeplessness for the rest of the night. So that should be fun. Okay, so like way looking back, probably one of my favorite babies so far this year has been the Medaglia de Oro filly that we had out of that chestnut mare. This might be, goodness, a pretty close second. Ugh. If you don't mind, may I see your child? Hi. We now have, oh, you're walking away from me. You did so good. I think this is the biggest baby you've ever had. Yeah, but you did so good. Yeah. I would like to see your child though. There we are. We now have a war front filly. Where you going? Hi. You sweet child. She's incredibly bright. She stood up within like 15-20 minutes. She figured out how to nurse very quickly. And she's just been overall very classy, huh? Yeah. And she's so friendly. And she just wants all the loves and the cuddles. She's like, I'm actually getting ready to take a nap. I know, you were just eating. She's just like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Cuddles. Cuddles. Oh. Are you going to kick me? She goes, I'm so ticklish. So babies are very ticklish. When they're first born, and we use it to our advantage a lot in order to get them to move sometimes. So like the mare herself will also use it like to nudge and lick, but he's so ticklish that you can just go like this and then they'll move and they'll wiggle. And sometimes when they're laying down, if you need to get them up, if you just tickle them around their spine, around their butt, it works like a charm. They grow out of it in a couple days, but definitely those first few days, they're all ticklish and silly. And we use it to our advantage. She's just so cute. I really like this little filly. She's been so bright. She's a pretty big filly. I just really like her. I don't know. There's some babies, obviously we deliver a lot of babies, right? And there's just some of them from like just that first moment where you're just like, oh, I like it. We've actually been fighting about that a little bit. Oh goodness, she's been so zoomy. We've been fighting about it a little bit with this kid in particular. This is one of the Instagrams we have. So I really wanted this baby to be a filly, and he ended up being a colt, and I was so disappointed that he was a colt. His mom is probably one of my favorite mares we have on the farm, and she happens to belong to my dad. And so obviously there's the chance that we might end up keeping him for racing or sell him. Just kind of depends on the nature of things. But like when he came out, like as soon as I pulled him out, I was like, it's gonna be a freaking colt. Like I already knew it. Like I had been cheering for a filly for so long, and it was a colt. And honestly, if it had been a filly, my dad would not have had the choice to sell. I would not have let him happen. I would have been like, no, we're keeping it. You don't get a say in it. But it was a colt. And as soon as I realized it was a colt, I'm like, God dang it. But my dad was like, you two, like, well, he sat up and was like looking at you, and you looked at each other, and he was like, I swear y'all just had that little moment, and you petted him, and he was like, that it was over. Like there was just no selling him in general. And I was like, I think that was all you in your imagination world. And that you just forged your own bond. And then he brought his wife too, and they've been all cuddle buddies. And so at this point we've been like, it's just one of those things. It's like, I don't really know how to explain it, I guess, but it's like you get really attached to them because you're with them all day, but there are just some from like the moment, like from like the very spark, where it's just a thing. You know that they're a cool thing, or you just buddy up with them right away, Anyway, I've rambled too long. I'm exhausted. I have had 4 cups of coffee at this stage. I have been walking and pacing back and forth because I kind of hit that wall at like 4 a.m. and I was just exhausted. And then I finally finished a freaking book that oh my God. Okay. Another side quest. I was reading Fourth Wing because it was so highly recommended, and I hated the first book. And I tried to be really optimistic going into the second book. I was like, maybe it's better. Maybe it's better. Like, honestly, like, this, it could be one of those books that it's just really slow, the first book, and the second book just smacks. I hated it so much. I almost felt bad hating it because it was so highly recommended. But I saw someone else mention it, and they were just like, it feels like trash TV. Like, it's one of those things that some people will just, like, chew, like, devour it, spit it out, and be like, oh, that was great. And then we'll never talk about it again here in a couple years. And I was like, ugh, sounds... Anyway, so I finished that book very much against my will. And, yeah. But to add... And I've rambled so much today. Oh, my Lord. Coffee, lack of sleep, joys. The Maximus Mischief... She was the only mare that was quiet and didn't do anything all night long. She was just good old faithful. That being said, she's still dripping milk. She's still very pregnant. She needs to release her hostage. The Vekoma at one point actually got pretty uncomfortable, and I was wondering whether or not she was going to foal or not. The owner has now kind of updated us a little bit about what she does. He said she's pretty reliable and that she waxes up about 2 days beforehand, and then she foals, and she's all good on that stuff. I was like, cool, it's nice to know. She got a smidge uncomfortable, but I do wonder if it was mainly just because a couple people came to visit, because, you know, she typically doesn't lay down too much inside. She prefers to sleep outside. And she laid down more than normal, so I was a little bit, like, just paranoid because lack of sleep and coffee, and I was pacing and just the life. Who else was obnoxious? There was a few of you. You weren't too bad. You got a little excited because she foaled, but that was... I don't blame you on that. And you were obnoxious, you little brat. Yeah, you. He was running around and bucking and kicking and squealing and making so much noise. He's like, I have no clue what you're talking about. You would be surprised how much freaking noise and shuffling these little kids make. I'm like, good Lord. It's so hard to hear sometimes. Who else was a problem tonight? You were a problem. She was very obnoxious. Let's see. You also were Zoomy, little midget. She was obnoxious. She was not as bad as the Uncle Mo. And then my freaking Miss Hateful and Grateful over here was also really obnoxious. I don't know what happened. At a point in time last night, these two and that mare over there, all of them at the same time, they got uncomfortable, they got restless, and then all of them laid down and rested for a while. And then they got restless again, and it was a whole thing, and they stressed me out. And then she went back to her normal routine, and I was like, okay, great, phenomenal. But then her started up again, and I just was like, I don't know what's happening. So it's been one of those nights tonight where my brain has just left the chat, isn't it? He's like, absolutely, I can tell. You've 100% lost it. Anyway, I'm going to go hibernate now. And hopefully regain some sanity. Hopefully, probably not. It is now Thursday evening. Obviously, I have returned to a more compliant state of mind compared to last night. Are we gonna have a baby tonight? Honestly, like, we're still just waiting on my Maximus Mischief. She's been quiet, content. Like, she's just got milk. You know, she's just vibing. Zero cares in the world. So yeah. Really? Oh, hi. What do you want? He's just staring at me. She's technically our best bet, I would say. If anyone else is gonna foal, we do have the Vekoma. She was a little uncomfortable last night. You don't want to say hi? He said no. She was a little uncomfortable last night at a point in time, but I had a lot of mares really uncomfortable at a point in time last night. Things got really chaotic, and I don't know what exactly caused. Everyone just had zoomies, I guess. I don't know. So the Vekoma is a chance And then there is a Nix Go on the far end that is also a potential possibility. Like if anyone wants to like step up and surprise me, those are probably the two that are most likely to do it. But yeah, I think we're mainly just waiting for the Maximus Mischief to wrap up this week. And we'll go from there, I guess. It's now Friday. We broke our streak for the week because there was no baby on Thursday. There's pretty good chance we'll have one tonight, I think. So the temperature has been like 80 degrees in the day, 62 at night. We are plummeting all the way to 36 tonight. So there was also a little bit of rain earlier last night. So, you know, my Maximus Mischief, she's still holding on to that kid. Again, she's still quiet, content. She's not really doing anything of that sort. However, the Vacoma officially has a little bit of wax. So now I've never foaled her before, and in all honesty, when it comes to like, people wonder like, oh, do you like request the owner to send any information? Like, you know, what do you do when you have one that you know has foaled before, but like you've never folded? Honestly, I kind of just, they're going to go when they're going to go. They're all kind of going to typically, each mare is going to show you their normal signs, but most of the time, normal signs are just, you know, they're going to relax behind, they're going to build a bag, things of that nature. It might just vary to like what degree they do it, you know, like every horse is different, every person's different. So the way their body reacts is, you know, but she's been really basic. She relaxed really well behind a couple days ago. Today, she's got a pretty decent sized bag. She just started to wax up today in this afternoon. Her owner says she's pretty basic in general, which is exactly what she's been showing me. And that typically once she waxes up, she falls within 48 hours. So I wouldn't be surprised if she falls tonight, but I also wouldn't be overly surprised if she holds off to the weekend. So yeah. Those are the Vacoma, and then my Maximus Mischief are pretty much who we're going to wait on for today. And if we have a kid tonight, cool. If not, then I'm sure Weekend Shift is going to have even more fun this weekend. And they can finally, goodness, have some more children. So it looks like my Maximus Mischief is planning on having her baby tonight. And I always feel so bad for our vets because foaling season is always crazy busy for them, right? They have a lot of stuff going on in the day, and then there's emergencies at night. And so obviously you can't control emergencies, but with I know I mentioned it, but just as a quick recap for anyone who's new or just needs a reminder, my mare in particular, she's NI positive, and NI positive is simply the colostrum is not compatible with the baby. It happens because of differences with the stallion and mare and blood types, all that jazz. It can be fatal for the baby. So basically what we have to do is drain all the colostrum from mom prior to birth. And then when she has her baby, we have to do a cross match. So we'll take the milk from mom and blood from the baby and make sure that it is compatible for them to nurse. And in the meantime, while we wait for the lab results, we will give baby a bottle of colostrum. So unfortunately, I have to wait until she breaks water before I can call my vet, because I don't want to call him too early, you know, and then she sit here and walk for 2 hours or something. I know. So I always like it when the NI positive mares go early enough, like, you know, before 10 o'clock or like closer to 5 a.m. because, you know, your vets don't lose as much sleep. But I always feel so bad because I have a feeling she's going to drag it out just right around midnight. Yeah. She's like, yep, I'm thinking about it. Anyway. So I guess we're going to wait for her to break water. I'm going to call my vet as soon as she does. so that hopefully by the time she's finished foaling and I have a clean stall for the vet, we can go ahead and get everything sorted out. Well, you've finally been released, huh? Yeah? You're no longer inside Mom. You drug it out. You were driving me up a wall. Hi. Anyway, I now have my third personal baby of the year and my third colt of the year. I was really hoping I would finally have a filly. Not gonna lie, I know, I'm so sorry. You already ate, kid. He's like, oh, I'm so hungry, though. But I now have a Maximus Mischief colt. Finally. Yeah. He, obviously, I had mentioned that the vet would have to come once she foaled. And so vet already came, pulled all the blood from Mom, or pulled blood from baby, checked milk from Mom. And he is good to nurse. I gave him a bottle. And so obviously he still kind of thinks, hey, she's got milk too. I do not have milk anymore. I already gave you milk. And he has nursed off of Mom. So he's just being greedy. He's just being greedy. Oh my gosh. Oh, so greedy. Go drink for your mother. Yes. But yeah. So got my third personal kid of the year, who happens to be another freaking colt. Yeah, go. You're gonna be awful. Yes, you are. You're gonna be so awful. Yes. Oh Lord. Anyway, the Vacoma still has quite a bit of wax. Now, interestingly enough, she tends to lay down and sleep quite a lot throughout the night. She did not whatsoever last night, which is very unusual. But to add to it, also, my mare foaled, and they're right next to each other. So I really wouldn't be surprised if she ends up having a baby this weekend. There's also a Nix Go on the far end that I wouldn't be surprised if she has her baby this weekend as well, even though she currently doesn't have any wax or anything of that nature. And then after that, so really we have the Vacoma, the Nix Go, and then we'll have this Golden Pal also coming up close. She's still got a while, I think. There's an Into Mischief coming up. And yeah, I feel like that should be kind of the next group of babies to be expecting. We are down to our final group, and I mean, like, we are down in the single digits now. We are officially only have 9 left to foal, which is kind of crazy to think about. We've delivered 45 currently. So yeah, we've been knocking everything out pretty well. Anyway, this is my final night of the week. We stayed busy enough. I have a feeling weekend should hopefully have at least one baby. Maybe they'll get lucky with the two. And so I guess we will say hello to those kiddos when we get back next week.